Alright, class, this is supposed to be my Algebra 3-4 review for this quiz, which is going to be coming up in YouTube world. It is tomorrow, but it's Friday 9/13. Alright, so put polynomials in order from largest leading coefficient to the smallest leading coefficient. So I'm going to go through and try to get this right. There we go. All right. So largest coefficient. So largest coefficient. So I'm going to start with my first one, which is the leading coefficient. So I'm going to just identify each leading coefficient, x cubed right there, and there we go. So I identified the leading coefficient of the polynomial first, which is the polynomial with the highest degree. So I just underline those so I can go through and actually put the polynomials in order from largest leading coefficient to smallest leading coefficient. Okay? So largest is going to be, largest coefficient is the largest number in front, which is going to be 2, 4, so I think if I remember correctly from the quiz, it's going to be something like this. You have to write the letters. So it's going to be C is going to be greater than, let's see, what's the next one? So next one going down is going to be 25. So it'd be 25. So there's going to be A. And then after A is going to give me, it's either -6 or 17. So largest is going to give me 17. So that is D. And my last one's going to be B. So there we go. So I'm using inequality symbols too. So alligator always eats the bigger one. So here, look, I'll put little teeth on this. There we go. Alligator always eats the largest, so it's going to eat that one right there. Let's take a look at the next problem. Put the polynomials in order for largest number of terms, so to the smallest number of terms. So terms, so I'm going to look at each one. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 terms, 1, 2, 2 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. So I'm going to go from largest to smallest. So it would be D greater than B greater than A greater than C, my last one. All right, so now that should be pretty easy. Next one is going to be evaluate the polynomial function P of x is all that. When x is equal to -3, show all steps, justify your answer. So now for full credit here, we need to do this. So it's going to be 7. And so every place we have an x, I'm plugging in -3. Close, -3, -3 squared minus 4 times -3 to the third plus 8. All right, so I'm going to do all the steps, and you are able to also do all the steps to get all the points, but you could also use your calculator to check your work. Okay, that's going to be helpful. So this is going to give me a -21. When I square this, it's going to be a +9 times -3. So that's -27. And then this -3 to the third power is going to be a -27. -27 times a -4, which is a positive, I don't know, 27 and 4, 8, 2, 8, 108. There we go. So we get 101, come on now, 108. 108 plus 8. So go ahead and combine those together. I'm going to get 116 minus 48. Do the math. It's going to be, I don't know, borrow 1, 16, 8, 8, 0. So 8, 0, and 68, yeah, there we go. So we should get 68. So 116 minus 48, line it up, borrow, carry. So that's going to be 16.8. So, and yeah, 68, there we go. So we get 68 for that one. So in your calculator, you could plug it in doing the same thing, but you're plugging in this one right here. And you have to just check your answer, please. So you show your work and then check your answer. I'll give you one of those points if you just plug it in and only give you the answer. All right, let's look at the last one here. Barbara's making a box with an open top by cutting out squares on the corners. We did problems like this and you had several of them. So I'm going to draw a box down here. So I'm cutting out corners. So whenever you do this, if you draw a diagram, it always helps you. Okay? And piece of paper that is 8 inches by 11 inches. So this is 8 inch by 11 inch. Okay, and folding up the side, she wants to have a volume of 100 inches cubed. Okay, the side lengths of the square cutouts are x inches. Then the volume of the box is given by that equation. What is the volume when x is 3? All right, so now for this, it's just going to look like this. It's going to be v of 3, which is going to be 3 times 8 minus 2 times 3 times 11 minus 2, 2 times 3. So let me see. So it's going to be a 3 times, this is going to give me minus 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. And this is going to be 11 minus 6 is 5. So altogether, I'm going to get 30. 30 inches cubed. All right. What is a reasonable domain? So I'm going to go back down to my shape to actually talk about this one. So if I'm cutting out an x here, if I'm cutting out an x there, this side right here is going to become, right here, it's going to be 8. And since I'm cutting out pieces, it's going to be minus 2x. So this side is going to be 8 minus 2x. This side over here, down here, is also going to be the same thing. So it's 11, and I'm cutting out 2 pieces, so it's going to be 11 minus 2x. And when I do the height of my cube, because my volume is equal to length times width times height, so my length is going to be my, let's see, 11 minus 2x. My width is going to be 8 minus 2x. And when I do this right here, I'm folding up those corners, and so the height is going to be whatever it is. When I fold this up, it's going to be x, whatever my x value is there. There's my v of x. All right, so the practical domain is, we were doing this the other day on the tables, and from the tables we actually had to figure out, okay, at some point it's no longer going to work because I'm going to have 0. So if I start plugging in 1, it would give me on this side right here, if I plug in 1 for the x, this is going to be 6. And if I plug in 2 for the x, so this is going to be 2 times 2 is 4. 8 minus 4 is 4. There we go. All right, 4. If I plug in 3 for the x, if I plug in 3, so it's going to be times 2 is 6. 8 minus that is going to give me 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. Then if I did 4, let's see, 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. So that would give me a value of 0. So I cannot have a volume because anything times 0 is going to be 0. So in this case right here, I use this because that one's going to be my smallest one. That's going to be my smallest because I keep cutting out. So if I get it to 4, when x equals 4, that means the whole thing, this whole side right here, is all cut away. I don't want to do that. So I could start off with numbers greater than 0, because I can't have a 0 cut and still have a volume. So I'm going to say my domain for this, that's a symbol for domain, would start at 0 but can't be equal to 0. So it's got to be greater than 0. And if I go all the way to 4, that means that it is not going to be equal. So if I went all the way to 4, so that's why it's not going to be equal to 4. I can't have equal to 4. I could only have less than 4. So if I go all the way to 4, that means that it doesn't work. All right, so that's going to be my reasonable domain for that. So those are my x values for this. And expand this. So I'm going to have, let's see, x, I've got to scroll it so I can see it. X quantity 8 so I'm going to go ahead and do all my distributions. So I'm going to start with my first distribution. And I'm going to do this one in blue so we can see this because it's not all. So I'm going to do this one first. So 8 times x is 8x, and then 8 times or x times negative 2x is negative 2x squared. So that's my first one. And I still have to do this one right here, which is 11 minus 2x. So now I'm going to change colors on this one. I'm going to go to this, let's go to this one right here, T-Mobile. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and do my distribution here. So 8 times 11, 8x times 11 is going to be 88. X, and then 8x times negative 2, it's going to be 8 times negative 2 is negative 16x squared. And then I'm going to do the inside. So that was my one, now the negative 2. So that's going to give me a negative 22x squared. So I'm going to line it up. And then my last one is right here, which is going to give me a positive, negative, negative, positive 4x cubed. So I go ahead, combine my like terms, and I come up with, let's see, right here, I'm going to come up with, I'm going to clear off my work right here for this. So if you need the diagram again, back up the video. So 88x minus, I combine those together, so it's going to be 38x squared plus 4x cubed. So this is my v of x function. Alrighty. Okay, I think that one's it. Alright, in standard form, don't forget, that's it. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. 200 videos. Alright, all those views.